sugar, spice, and everything.
Bryce.
These were the ingredients chosen to create the perfect
YouTube series.
But Professor
Mundane.
accidentally added an extra ingredient to the concoction. Chemical.
Tea.
Thus,
This week in Philadelphia Sports was born. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of This Week in Philadelphia Sports, where, as you know by now, we go over everything that happened this week in Philadelphia Sports. Again. If you're new around here, guys, and you've not subscribed already, make sure you leave a like and hit that subscribe button. It means the absolute world to us. And while we're on that note, a massive thank you again for 10,000 subscribers. I know there's a big super soppy video over on this channel, but if you've not seen it, there is a chance as a big thank you from me, because I can never quite put into words how much your support truly means. You can win a $50 Eagles Pro Shop gift card. All you've got to do is go to my Twitter page, which is in the description, find this tweet, retweet that, follow Philly Sports Network. I'll pick a winner on Wednesday. Also, a quick note before we get started, if you've not seen the last video, my Twitter got suspended recently for no reason at all. It was the most ridiculous copyright claim I've ever seen. The equivalent of me recording a dog walking, a car driving past with music on, and me being copyrighted for the music. It was insane. So that means I have lost all of my followers. I'm having people email me saying, have I blocked them? I promise you I haven't. The Twitter's just been suspended. So if you could follow my new Twitter at Liam Jenkins PSN, that would be amazing. The Eagles started phase 3 of their off-season workout program this week, with OTAs opening up down at the Novacare complex. Now, this in itself brought plenty of intrigue. How would Carson Wentz look? Who were the players that were injured? And who looked to get an early jump on what's going to be a very exciting and very competitive off-season in Philadelphia? The good news is for many that Carson Wentz was moving very fluidly without a knee brace on, which really was a sight for sore eyes after a very troubled 2018 season. Wentz, of course, has now had over a year to recover from that torn ACL, which he suffered in week 14 of 2017. And in what's a very important off-season, Wentz seems to have hit the ground running, quite literally, which was great to see. He sounded confident during his press conference. He looked a little bit leaner. He said that he's taken up the Tom Brady diet. Doesn't look as stocky as he did 1 year ago. Now, maybe it's just a case of him getting into shape. Maybe it is a dietary change, but it's certainly worth noting. Outside of that, though, there were some names who weren't present, with Malcolm Jenkins being one of them. Of course, there is speculation that Malcolm Jenkins is seeking a bigger deal, and who can blame him? The man is currently the 10th highest paid safety in the NFL and has missed just 1.6% of snaps in 4 years for the Philadelphia Eagles. It's absolutely ridiculous. The guy's a machine. He is the heartbeat of that Eagles defense, and although he's already restructured once, it's safe to say, after seeing such an off-season splurge of cash, we can expect Malcolm Jenkins to at least want a little bit more. Now, whether he'll get it or no is another question. The Eagles, as we noted earlier this week on the channel, have $27 million in cap space after Chris Long's retirement, and if they're going to factor in roughly doubled what Malcolm Jenkins is getting now, which would put him around the 15 sort of million mark, you want to make sure you've got enough for a potential Carson Wentz extension. Now, I don't want to dig into this too much because we've spent an entire week getting into it, but it is going to be very interesting. Do the Eagles want to strike first now with Carson Wentz? Do they want that franchise quarterback tied down long term at the risk of not having maybe enough as they'd like left over to pay Malcolm Jenkins? Or do they wait, let some of the other quarterbacks from that class like Jared Goff, like Dak Prescott get their big paydays and risk Carson Wentz having an incredible season in 2019, only raising his benchmark? It's a really interesting debate. This is why Howie Roseman has paid the big bucks, but let me know what you do down in the comments below. And of course, with the off-season now getting to that weird stage where there is a deep breath between now and training camp, trade rumours were always bound to come up, and the one name circulating a lot right now is Jadeveon Clowney. The former first overall pick has been a menace over the last couple years for the Texans, recording 9 sacks in both of his last 2. But with no long-term contract agreed and Clowney holding out, currently set to play under the franchise tag, teams are beginning to ramp up, and the Eagles, having just lost Chris Long and of course Michael Bennett earlier this offseason, are being heavily linked. But if you're an Eagles fan, I wouldn't get your hopes up. The Eagles drafted Sharif Miller, they brought back Vinny Curry, they've got Derek Barnett developing well, and of course, guys like Joe Ostman and Josh Sweat. It is not the strongest core in the league, make no mistake, but Jadeveon Clowney wants big-time cash because he makes big-time plays, which makes sense with the Eagles already having to potentially work on a Carson Wentz extension. And then look at Malcolm Jenkins. You can't afford another $12 million on the outside of the trenches. Maybe not this year. If a team trades for Clowney, they have to inherit that cap hit and then rework a deal, and I just can't see the Eagles wanting to give up that kind of money. Now, don't get me wrong, I feel that Clowney will be a tremendous fit for this team, but when you look at the defensive line, when you've got Derek Barnett, Brandon Graham, Jadeveon Clowney, and then all the other guys who are developmental, that's just too many starter chefs in the kitchen. You've got plenty of depth chefs, if that's a thing. Maybe they're just doing cutlery on the side. Maybe they're washing the dishes. But you can't have that many guys all wanting snap counts. We saw how angry Tim Jernigan got recently about his snap count being diminished. You can't pay Jadeveon Clowney that amount of money and have him a rotational role. If you start him on the outside, you're hurting either Brandon Graham or, of course, you're hurting none other than Derek Barnett. Neither of which is ideal. Now, another name being linked to the Eagles is, of course, Artie Burns. Bill Barnwell Jr., a great writer from ESPN, put out a theory that Howie Roseman, being the smart and forward-thinking general manager that he is, would want to take a shot on a cornerback who had a bit of a slump in 2018, to the point he was benched, to the point Steelers didn't pick up his fifth-year option, which would make sense, but Jalen Mills is in a contract year, Ronald Darby's on a one-year deal. We still don't know what the true ceiling is of Sidney Jones, and the Eagles need to find stability after those first two guys, because it is likely that Mills and Darby will hit free agency. There is a very good chance that someone like Rasul Douglas or Avonte Maddox will have to step up to CB1 or CB2. You don't bring in another guy that is young on a short-term contract. It's clustered enough as it is right now. Cornerback room right now is the equivalent of going to the store. See, I'm getting good at this, I said store. And seeing loads of stuff on offer for different reasons. Some of it's gone out of date. Some of it is a bit damaged in the packaging. Some of it's just an old line. And you buy as much as you can, get to your car with all these new televisions and stuff and go, how am I going to get this home? You can't trade for Artie Burns. Now, I get the theory that if you somewhat guarantee LJ4 is going to be a permanent fixture in this team, what you're going to have is a guaranteed compensatory pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But Roseman doesn't work like that. We know he values those compensatory picks, and it would not surprise me to see him play that game. I understand the motive of the trade. It is the perfect player that Philadelphia will take a target on, but not right now. Not right now. Not when the Eagles are trying to find a long-term future at cornerback, because Ronald Darby's probably going to go elsewhere. I don't know what the long-term status is for Jalen Mills, and you've got all these young budding guys on cheap deals who could easily fill those roles. Whew, I'm glad I got that off my chest. On to the Phillies, and for the first time in T.W.I.P.S history, they are 7-3 in their last 10 and not 6-4. So that's an improvement, right? They're still 2 games at the top of the NL East. People say 2.5 because they're not 2.5. There's clearly 2. If it was 2.5, they'd be on 19.5. I just don't get it. But everything is coming up Phillies pitching rotation. There is a man called J.D. Hammer, and I'm not going to make the pun of Hammer Time because you all want me to do it, and it's Hammer Time! He'll replace Pat Neshek, who picked up an injury earlier this week, but the Phillies rotation heating up, it's fair to say. The Vince Velasquez as a reliever experiment is going quite well. Although Cole Irvin got rocked in an 8-4 loss earlier this week, he's been playing pretty strong in that spot as well. And let's not forget, offensively wise, Andrew McCutchen is on an absolute tear. I don't know what he's been eating for breakfast, how many oranges he's eating before the game, but the man is on an absolute rampage right now. You've got Bryce Harper back hitting dingers and making remarkably athletic moves in the outfield. All of that time, you just want to sit back and enjoy the roll. I'm getting a bit far. The Phillies are doing well right now. And as we get to Memorial Day weekend, I think it's safe to say they're one of the better teams in baseball. Maybe not the best, but I'd say they're certainly up there. There's no real major news for the Philadelphia 76ers, but with free agency just around the corner and tension building from all over the place on where Jimmy Butler's going to go, and apparently he would happily take a max deal with the LA Lakers and all of this stuff, there's not really much to say other than, again, like I said last week, this is a really, really important offseason for the team to maintain their identity. I put a list out of 5 underrated free agents, which you can read there, that I think the Sixers should target, including Nerlens Noel, just because a reunion would be nice, Dwayne Dedman, and a certain Charlotte Hornets shooting guard, but it's all speculative right now. I think we need to see how the NBA Finals pan out, because there may be some unrest with Klay Thompson. He obviously wants a massive, massive deal, snub from the end of season awards, so maybe he thinks that's going to impact his deal. Maybe this is going to tempt one of the teams like the Sixers to just creep up the back stairs, slip them their number under the table, and offer something maybe a bit more substantial that the Warriors wouldn't. Ben Simmons has reportedly broke up with Kendall Jenner. It explains a lot. Their relationship has been rockier than my last relationship, which, if you're a fan of the Outside Insider podcast, you know what I'm talking about. So if Ben Simmons has been listening to, when he's working out on all these cool headphones adverts, it's just Marvin's Room by Drake playing in the background, of Of course he's not going to want to shoot his shot. He's maybe terrified of shooting shots with girls now. But it is ironic because I've just googled Ben Simmons to make sure I said the right Jenner, because there are loads of them. And the first headline I see is Kendall Jenner just revealed if she has plans to marry Ben Simmons anytime soon. I'd say that's a firm no. A firm no. While it's not quite Philadelphia related, the Charlton shirt is being donned again. For those of you who frequently tell me to stick to soccer, to stick to English football, although no one calls it football. I don't know why people, what is a football? I have. Charlton won the playoff final. They get promoted upper league. You don't know what any of this means. Probably. But basically, tiny little club called Charlton that no one's ever heard of. They won a big game today at a massive stadium. Everyone cheered and sung a lot, and they go up a division of competition, one step closer to the Premier League, which is actually one that people do know. It's a good day. If you want to adopt a soccer team, choose my one, because it is the most Philadelphia team imaginable. And while we're talking of soccer, the Philadelphia Union ended a 6-game unbeaten run. They lost to Portland 3-1. They conceded 2 goals in 5 minutes, which is the equivalent of just a quick 1-2. So the Union dropped some points there. It's not good. It's not the end of the world. Their season's been incredibly promising so far. For the Flyers, their update has gone enticing stuff. But don't forget, guys, you can get daily doses of Philadelphia sports content at our website, phillysportsnetwork.com, from myself and all of our writers. Thank you so much again for 10,000 subscribers. If you want to win a $50 Eagles gift card, all you've got to do, tweet in the description, self and the PSN account, and you're entered. Honestly though, guys, I'm so endlessly grateful for your support. It really does mean the world to me. We're going to have a couple of film rooms coming next week, along with some interesting new videos as well, so stick around for that. Hit subscribe if you would be so kind. And from myself, Liam Jenkins, you can find me on Twitter at Liam Jenkins PSN, because they suspended my other one. 5,000 followers gone. Myself, Liam Jenkins. I'll see you next time.